I haven't felt this feeling in a long time. That moment when you start a trailer and something just clicks inside. When you don't want to skip, don't want to compare it to last year, don't want to say, here we go again. 2026 isn't just another year packed with loud releases, it's the moment when games start taking risks again. Breaking rules, bringing back the emotions that made us fall in love with gaming in the first place. Gothic 1 Remake is officially moving toward an early 2026 release as a full modern reconstruction of the classic 2001 RPG, rebuilt from the ground up by Alchemia Interactive using Unreal Engine 5. The goal is to preserve the original game's brutal sandbox RPG identity while modernizing visuals, combat, and world systems for today's platforms. A playable demo titled Nyra's Prologue is already available on PC and consoles, allowing players to experience life inside the colony under the barrier firsthand. Recent gameplay previews have showcased refined combat animations, smoother interactions, and more responsive systems, while ongoing developer communication has highlighted adjustments made since earlier showcases. The team has remained actively engaged with fans, regularly sharing updates and emphasizing their commitment to capturing the spirit, atmosphere, and unforgiving tone that defined the original Gothic.
With their pitiful illusion of order and safety. And yes,
Reanimal has officially locked in its release date and is set to launch worldwide on February 13, 2026. The game is developed by Tarsier Studios, the creators of Little Nightmares, and published by THQ Nordic, and it presents a disturbing co-op horror adventure built around atmosphere and tension. Players take control of a brother and sister duo who are navigating a twisted, nightmarish world in search of their missing friends, blending environmental puzzles, stealth, platforming, and unsettling horror elements. The experience supports single player with an AI-controlled companion, as well as both local and online co-op for 2 players. With pre-orders and demos already available and the game officially gone gold, development is complete and the project is now headed toward full mass release.
We're dead.
Nioh 3 is the next mainline chapter in Team Ninja's action RPG series and is scheduled to release on February 6, 2026. The story continues after the events of the previous games and places you in the role of Tokugawa Takechio as he battles yokai and supernatural threats while rising toward his destiny as Shogun. The game expands on the demanding Souls-like combat the series is known for, featuring dynamic weapon styles, guardian spirit mechanics, and a greater emphasis on player mastery. This entry also introduces more open environments filled with side quests and exploration points, allowing for a broader sense of progression. Online features return with 2 multiplayer modes, one focused on summoning allies for difficult boss encounters, and another centered on cooperative exploration, and a playable demo launched on January 29, 2026 exclusively on PS5. Resident Evil Requiem, often referred to as Resident Evil 9, is the next major mainline survival horror entry from Capcom and is set to release on February 27, 2026 for PlayStation 5, Xbox, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC. The story returns to the long-term aftermath of the Raccoon City incident, taking place roughly 30 years later and blending classic survival horror tension with modern action design. Players step into the role of FBI analyst Grace Ashcroft as she explores the haunting ruins left behind, facing grotesque new creatures and unraveling unsettling mysteries. Select sections featuring Leon S. Kennedy introduce a more combat-focused approach, creating a dual-perspective structure that balances slow-burn horror with intense action.
They hung up on me. Rude. Tell me what's going on.
Something important. Keep moving.
What's... Mom, I'm scared.
Crimson Desert is an ambitious open-world action-adventure that has been in development for years and now carries a confirmed release date of March 19, 2026. The game is set on the vast continent of Pywell, where players assume the role of a hardened mercenary struggling to survive while searching for answers in a land fractured by war and political conflict. It combines large-scale exploration with dynamic combat, narrative-driven quests, and deep world-building that brings its setting to life. Early previews have pointed to a rich lore foundation, varied factions, and a strong focus on a fully realized solo campaign experience. With its scope, systems, and presentation, Crimson Desert has positioned itself as one of the most closely watched open-world releases of 2026.
We seek to correct this.
Two have died. For those who have survived,
What I can tell you now is that this
Pragmata is a long-teased sci-fi action-adventure that is now approaching the final stages of development, with Capcom confirming a target release window of April 2026, while final polish continues. The game is set in a near-future lunar environment, where players explore a mysterious and abandoned moon outpost alongside an android companion, gradually uncovering a narrative that blends dystopian intrigue with isolation and discovery. The experience combines action, exploration, and story-driven progression, with much of its appeal centered on its striking sense of scale and atmosphere. While specific gameplay systems are still being kept under wraps, Pragmata has consistently been highlighted for its visual ambition and eerie tone, making it one of the most enigmatic and discussed new IPs leading into 2026.
Security protocol.
Saros is an upcoming sci-fi action game from Housemarque, the studio behind Returnal, and it blends fast-paced third-person shooting with roguelike progression and exploration systems. Players take on the role of Soltari enforcer Arjun Devraj, traveling through the mysterious and constantly shifting world of Carcosa while battling alien threats and uncovering hidden secrets. The game emphasizes fluid combat, constant movement, and exploration, while allowing players to unlock permanent upgrades that enhance weapons and abilities across runs. With a strong focus on atmosphere and narrative depth, Saros is shaping up to be one of the standout PlayStation 5 exclusives, building on Housemarque's signature blend of intense action and immersive storytelling.
There's no way to get
places. It was promised.
I will.
I just made the right decision.
It's me, boss. Wait, how? How long?
And it twists and it turns.
First Light marks the first major James Bond video game in years and is being developed by IO Interactive, the studio known for the Hitman series. The game tells an original origin story centered on a young James Bond during his early days as an MI6 agent, long before he earns the iconic agent designation. Gameplay blends stealth, action, spycraft, gadgets, and globetrotting missions within a narrative-driven structure, introducing an original cast of allies and villains created specifically for this story. One of the standout elements is the inclusion of Lenny Kravitz as a Bond antagonist, adding a distinctive presence to the game's high-stakes narrative. After a slight schedule shift to allow additional refinement, the release is now firmly set for late May 2026.
Always. I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
You're not, Damien. Meet
Bond.
fingers were the last line of defense.
LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight is the next major LEGO action-adventure from TT Games and Warner Bros. Games, set entirely within a fully open-world Gotham City inspired by iconic Batman stories. The game follows a sweeping journey through Bruce Wayne's evolution into the Dark Knight, drawing inspiration from decades of Batman films, comics, and television while maintaining the franchise's signature LEGO humor. Players can expect a mix of exploration, superhero combat, detective mechanics, and puzzle solving, all woven into a playful yet respectful take on the Batman mythos. The experience features a wide roster of allies and villains from across Gotham's history, offering a large-scale LEGO interpretation of one of DC's most legendary heroes. Marvel's Wolverine is a major PlayStation 5 exclusive action-adventure developed by Insomniac Games, the studio behind the Marvel's Spider-Man series, and it is officially confirmed for a fall 2026 release. The game delivers an original story inspired by the comics, diving deep into Logan's brutal world and emphasizing his claws, rage, and relentless close-quarters combat. Developers have highlighted visceral melee action and cinematic presentation as central pillars, with the narrative focusing on Wolverine hunting down dark secrets from his past. The journey spans multiple locations, including the gritty streets of Madripoor, the frozen wilderness of Canada, and urban districts in Japan, with familiar X-Men characters such as Mystique and Omega Red playing important roles in the story.
Just not for me. Doesn't matter where I go. How far I run.
The Dark Pictures Anthology Directive 8020 is the next entry in Supermassive Games' choice-driven horror series, and is now targeting a release in the first half of 2026, after being delayed from late 2025 to allow for additional polish. This chapter follows 5 protagonists who find themselves stranded aboard a crash-landed colony ship near Tau Ceti F, where a shape-shifting alien presence begins hunting them one by one. The game retains the anthology's signature branching narrative structure built around player decisions, moral dilemmas, and multiple outcomes, while introducing a new turning points mechanic that allows players to revisit and alter critical choices. Set within a tense sci-fi horror framework, Directive 8020 blends paranoia, survival, and psychological tension as the crew struggles to stay alive while uncovering the truth behind the alien threat.
Since then he's letting on. You can't take any chances with him.
It's coming in.
What is that? This.
Lord have mercy.
Gaining the human form is replacing us.
I know this will be difficult.
Forza Horizon 6 has been officially revealed as the next installment in the open-world racing franchise and is scheduled for release in 2026. This time, the Horizon Festival heads to Japan, offering a richly detailed setting that ranges from neon-lit city streets inspired by Tokyo to scenic countryside roads and diverse natural landscapes. The game was showcased during a major Xbox Developer Direct event where the developers highlighted its world design and core gameplay features. It will launch first on Xbox and PC, with plans already in place for a post-launch edition on PlayStation 5 developed after the initial release. Forza Horizon 6 will also be available through Xbox Game Pass at launch, continuing the series' tradition of accessibility alongside large-scale racing spectacle. Titan Quest II is currently available in early access after launching on August 1st, 2025 on PC through Steam and Epic Games Store, giving players an early look at its myth-inspired action RPG systems. Developed by Grimlore Games and built on Unreal Engine 5, the game features multiple masteries, deep loot systems, and an evolving world filled with mythological threats such as Nemesis. The development team is actively expanding the experience with major updates every few months, adding new zones, bosses, items, masteries, and challenges as development progresses. Plans are in place to move Titan Quest II out of early access in late 2026, alongside full releases on PlayStation 5 and Xbox, as players continue their journey from humble beginnings toward legendary status. Lords of the Fallen 2 has been officially revealed and is confirmed to be launching sometime in 2026, although an exact release date has not yet been announced. The game is a standalone sequel set roughly a century after the events of the original, unfolding within a grim and oppressive dark fantasy world. It is designed around punishing combat, atmospheric environments, and a tone that appeals directly to fans of high-difficulty action RPGs. While concrete gameplay details remain limited for now, the project is expected to release across major platforms and is already being positioned as one of the most anticipated fantasy RPGs on the 2026 calendar.
I will walk them with you. Wherever. Forgive me.
HOM Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era represents a full revival of the classic turn-based strategy franchise and is being developed by Unfrozen with publishing support from Ubisoft and Hooded Horse. After multiple delays from its original target window, the game is now officially confirmed for release in 2026. Set as a prequel to the original Heroes titles, Olden Era brings back the series' core pillars, including turn-based combat, world exploration, strategic faction play, multiplayer modes, and a robust map editor. A free demo is already available on PC, allowing players to experiment with factions and systems ahead of launch. And the project aims to faithfully restore the tactical depth that defined the franchise's legacy. Grand Theft Auto VI is the long-awaited next mainline entry in Rockstar Games' open-world crime series, and is built around a massive reimagining of Vice City and the surrounding state of Leonida. The game follows a criminal duo, Lucia Caminos and Jason Duval, as they navigate a sprawling narrative centered on heists, betrayals, and survival in a modern criminal underworld. After years of development and multiple delays, Rockstar has officially confirmed a release date of November 19, 2026 for PlayStation 5 and Xbox, positioning it as one of the most significant releases of the decade. While the date appears solid, ongoing speculation suggests development continues to move toward full content completion, keeping fans closely watching every update surrounding the project.
Trust?
Trust.
She thought it should be. Yeah, we were just over love.
We're gonna get through this is by sticking together. Being a team.
Gears of War E-Day is a prequel to the original Gears of War series that focuses on the catastrophic moment when the Locust Horde first emerged and reshaped the fate of the planet Serra forever. Players step into the role of a young Marcus Fenix alongside Dom as they experience the chaos and brutality of Emergence Day firsthand. The game delivers the franchise's signature gritty third-person shooter combat, grounded in raw intensity and large-scale destruction. Although a precise release date has not been announced, the Coalition and Xbox have reaffirmed that the game is targeting a 2026 launch window, with continued development updates reassuring fans that progress remains on track. Control Resonant is the next major installment in Remedy Entertainment's paranormal action RPG universe, and was officially announced toward the end of 2025, with a planned release in 2026. This entry shifts the setting from the enclosed oldest house to a paranaturally distorted version of Manhattan, expanding the scale and scope of the world. Players take control of Dylan Faden, the brother of the original game's protagonist Jesse Faden, as he confronts reality-bending cosmic threats using newly introduced supernatural abilities. Combat is built around a shape-shifting melee weapon known as the Aberrant, blending action, exploration, and RPG systems into Remedy's most ambitious design to date. Control Resonant is designed to be accessible for newcomers while still expanding the lore and systems for fans of the original Control. Tomb Raider: Legacy of Atlantis is a reimagining of the original 1996 Tomb Raider, rebuilt from the ground up using Unreal Engine 5 by Crystal Dynamics in collaboration with Flying Wild Hog and published by Amazon Games. The game revisits Lara Croft's first adventure, but modernizes it with expanded locations that include jungles, ruins, deserts, and mythical Mediterranean islands. Gameplay features updated mechanics, larger and more complex puzzles, enhanced combat, and significantly richer visuals, all while maintaining the tone and spirit of the classic experience. Tomb Raider: Legacy of Atlantis is expected to release in 2026 on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Windows PC.
New discoveries. Wait.
The Blood of Dawnwalker is an action RPG scheduled for release in 2026 from Rebel Wolves, a studio founded by veterans that include former developers of The Witcher 3. Players assume the role of Cohen, a man transformed into a Dawnwalker, a hybrid being caught between human and vampire. The narrative is built around meaningful choices that force players to decide between protecting humanity or embracing monstrous power, set within a dark, alternate version of the 14th century shaped by political conflict and rising supernatural threats. The game is confirmed for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox, and will include Czech localization as part of its global release.
Waiting to understand the evil behind it all. Nightmare. The vampires didn't come fighting to even the score. Fighting to
Slay the Spire 2 is the long-awaited sequel to the influential roguelike deck builder that helped define its genre, and it is being developed by Megacrit, with a renewed focus on expanding the original formula. The game builds on the familiar Climb the Spire structure while introducing new characters, cards, relics, and branching paths designed to significantly increase variety and long-term replayability. After initially aiming for a late 2025 release, the developers officially delayed the project into March 2026 in order to expand its content and further polish the experience before release. Slay the Spire 2 is expected to launch first on PC in early access, with console versions planned to follow at a later date. Mouse P.I. for Hire is a stylish first-person action shooter infused with noir themes, placing players in the role of private detective Jack Pepper, a tough-talking mouse operating in the gritty, cartoon-styled city of Mouseburg. The game combines fast-paced boomer shooter combat with hand-drawn 1930s, rubber hose-inspired visuals, and a jazzy soundtrack that reinforces its detective noir atmosphere. Players can expect more than 20 levels filled with crime drama, boss encounters, and satirical twists on classic crime fiction, all wrapped in a unique aesthetic that blends old-school animation with intense shooter action.
Get rid of the shoes!
beat it, Gumshoe.
Guess that just made my day.
Cthulhu: The Cosmic Abyss is a first-person Lovecraft-inspired horror adventure developed by Big Bad Wolf and published by Nacon. Players step into the role of Noah, an investigator working for a secret occult division who is assigned to uncover the truth behind the disappearance of miners at a remote deep-sea station in the Pacific Ocean. What begins as a routine investigation slowly descends into madness as the search leads to the ancient and labyrinthine sunken city of R'lyeh, where Cthulhu lies dormant and unspeakable horrors await. The game blends exploration, investigation, puzzle solving, narrative branching, and psychological tension, challenging both the player's reasoning and sanity as environments shift from eerie underwater facilities to vast cyclopean ruins rendered with atmospheric world design powered by Unreal Engine 5.
Stabilize your breathing rate. Processing environmental data. Memory patterns. Good evening, Noah.
Subnautica 2 is the sequel to the acclaimed underwater survival game and is officially targeting an early access release in 2026. Developed by Unknown Worlds Entertainment using Unreal Engine 5, the game is set on an entirely new alien ocean world that goes beyond anything previously seen in the series. Subnautica 2 introduces expanded biomes, new creatures, deeper survival systems, and support for up to 4-player co-op, allowing players to explore and survive together. The early access launch was delayed from 2025 into 2026 to give the team additional time to refine core systems and add more content, a decision that generated controversy and was accompanied by internal leadership changes at the studio.